G'day mate, how you doing?
Hey, not too bad, how are you?
So sorry about the delay.
Ah, that's right.
I'm Andrew, nice to meet you man.
That's me, Andrew.
So Sam's checked this thing out, he's pretty happy with it. He just wants me to give it the once over.
Yep.
This, that, the other. Just a couple of quick questions on how long you had it for?
About 5 years.
Oh, there you go, cool. Just basic servicing and all that time and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet man, cool. Any issues, anything like that you're aware of that might need to be checked out in terms of... In terms of like the little things, not really too concerned about wearable stuff, but
Yeah.
she doesn't like have any issues. She's getting hot, doesn't smoke, doesn't have anything like that.
It's been pretty good. I mean, only issues I know are over the tyres for the roadworthy, but like you said, that's variable. Getting them done anyway.
Yeah, they're little
And then
things.
there is a rear action seal.
Yeah, they're common to go on these things.
But I'm getting that done tonight anyway.
Yeah, sweet
Or like
man.
the next day, so... Yeah, because he went to adjust the brakes and then he saw it was like oil on the back of the wheel.
Yeah, it's either a wheel cylinder or an axle seal, so it's probably the axle seal. They're pretty straightforward to change.
I think it was a throw bearing or something, I'm not 100% sure, but
In the 5 years, did you have the clutch change on owning it?
I did. I had
Okay.
it probably 2 years into owning it.
Yeah,
I think,
well, the thing is, the reality is with the throw-up bearing like that, if it ain't flogged out now and it's just making a bit of sound, it's just the way it is, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what, my mechanic said too. He's like, mate, if it hasn't fucked up, she's not too
I guess
bad.
there's no cars that I've driven for years and years with throw-up bearings. Just in the Macca's drive-through, you're like, please be quiet.
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're going
'cause it's
home.
like echoing off
Yeah,
the walls,
you're
yeah.
like, shut the hell up. But anyway, have you had the cam belt and all that done? Or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I haven't had
right.
the timing belt done yet. But my
That's
mechanic says wasn't really worried about it until the 150 service.
First thing I'm going to do is have a little walk around, check the car out. The way I kind of hit this is I'll start from the ground up, so I'll go tyres, brakes, suspension, then I'll look underneath, check everything out, bushings, oil leaks, all this kind of stuff that we may or may not find. This dude's pretty honest so far. He was mentioning the tyres are pretty average, and as you can see they definitely are. These are 2020 model tyres. Try to get the visual on the brake pads. Heaps of meat on them. The rotors themselves, once she focuses, pretty good condition. Might have been machined recently. No lip on it or anything. Those pads look pretty new. Get a bit of a leaky axle seal he mentioned earlier. It's either going to be an axle seal or it's going to be the wheel cylinder for the brakes. Smells like gear oil though. And as you can see, this drum is extremely dry. A lot of brake dust, or I should say dust. Don't know if it's brake dust yet, but that's the difference between not leaking and leaking. Leaves look like they're pretty good. They're not sagging. There's nothing wrong with the packs really from there. Bushings wise, I'm going to assume that these are just standard or factory bushings. Don't be fooled, that's not / rubber sleeve at the top. So got the shackle bushings here. Again, they're probably factory. A couple of splits through them. None to really worry about too much in the grand scheme of things. Diff is a bit damp. That just probably indicates it's probably been serviced recently, which the guy was talking about. You can see here just a visual, the shockies aren't leaking, so it's another good sign from the back here. And same with this one here, the shocks seem to be in pretty good nick. Again, with that bushing up the top there, it's not actually falling apart, it's just the discoloration in the rubber from age and heat and all this kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's brand new, but I'm not saying it's falling apart. There you can kind of see that the thing's had a pretty sweet life. It doesn't have really any corrosion anywhere through any of the back of the tray. I'd be hard pressed to even think this thing's even seen a boat ramp, because just the smallest amount of salt water will definitely change the look of everything back here. So that's a good sign. Alright, that should be high enough for me to crawl under. Don't worry about the jack placement. I did it like that so it doesn't fall off the concrete. Alright, so on the vehicle now. Again, it's super tidy under here. Like, this has been really well kept. And I'm looking. Check for play in the uni joints. It's all pretty good. It could probably use a little bit of grease. But again, nothing to really go crazy over. As long as the play and everything like that is good, we should be good to go. Got the center bearing. Nice and solid, no damage. I cannot tell if it's been replaced. Well, actually I can tell. I dare say it's factory. It does have extremely low Ks on this car, so it's another good sign. And again, going through this uni and that uni, pretty good, no issues there. I would definitely say that needs some grease, but again, in terms of the grand scheme of things, we should be good. Visually with the exhaust and whatnot, I haven't started it yet, but you can kind of see that there's no little black carbon build-ups anywhere from here or here, so this is probably a good sign that it's not leaking, just as a standard point. From there, we'll check out the chassis rails, make sure there's no rust or any hidden surprises. But I think we're pretty good. So far it's looking super clean. Alright, looking to the front of the vehicle now. Let's see what we can find. Obviously, you want to make sure you don't have any leaks coming from the gearbox seal here. These gearbox mounts are in good nick, no issues, this, that, or the other. It looks extremely nice here. You can see those ball joints don't have any splits in it. The tie rod ends in good nick from there. You can see the sway bar links are starting to have a couple of minor cracks coming through them, but I don't even know if that's worth mentioning. Like, that's, let's see, there we go, bang, what camera quality. But yeah, so a couple of minor cracks coming through, nothing to really worry about. Very cheap, very easy part to fix. This is the driver's side. What do we have here? We'll have to pull the wheel off and investigate that a little bit more. Looking for anything that might stand out in terms of leaks, any weird work that's been done on the car that's not been done properly. So you have the clutch change, so you hope all the bolts are in there. Don't worry about those bolts, they lead to nowhere. Well, whoops. What do we have here? Oil leak. Come from here somewhere, we'll have to check that out. Not the worst. Definitely something going on. We'll have a little bit of a shake around, but looks like everything's in pretty good nick with the engine mounts. Don't look like they collapsed or anything. One thing you definitely want to check is the rear main. Make sure you got no leaks there, because that's going to cost you a bit of money. So she's dry as there, don't see anything there. It doesn't look like it's been cleaned. That's another good sign too, so should be good on that front. Alright, now we can see what's going on here. Still looks pretty clean. This guy here always seems to flog out, so that's a good sign he hasn't. Same with this one up here. It's very hard for me to get you a visual, but you can see that oil there. It's hard to tell where it's coming from because it is lower than the valve cover gasket, but it looks like it's extremely slow to be coming out, although there's a bit of it. And also, that oil filter is brand new, so she has been serviced recently. But other than that, this side of the engine is bone dry, very good nick. We'll test this clutch fan out later, but no cracks, no nothing there, that's another good sign. And also the serpentine belt is in good nick, so we're good there. In terms of checking fluids and whatnot, we'll go through that now, make sure everything is at the right level, and then from there we will do a pressure test on the cooling system to make sure we're not losing any pressure anywhere via any head gasket issues, anything like that. Alright, Alright, she's bang on the 15. We'll leave it there for a bit and come back. These are rock hard now. Power steering pump or reservoir is full. Doesn't look like there's any leaks from anywhere. Washer fluid's full. We'll make sure that we test them out. Air filter's in good nick. Pulled it out. Definitely been serviced recently. I'm going to check the engine oil now. Just be aware that the car is on a slope, so I'm not actually checking the level. Just kind of having a look at seeing if there's anything sinister going on in there, any water or any weird stuff. It's kind of hard to see, but plenty of oil in it, but also I'm not really worried about that. I'm kind of going to pull it out, touch it, and see what's going on. If it feels like it's watery or anything like this, give it the old smell test, but so far it's looking good. It's actually definitely been serviced recently. Now you know this because generally speaking diesels will just go black straight away, the oil, but you can still see it's got a tinge of brown to it, so another good sign. Alright, we're back after a few minutes. It's not really dropped, it's dropped the tiniest little bit, but these aren't perfectly sealing systems and it ain't gonna drop any more than that. I'm pretty confident that there's nothing wrong through the cooling system. I do a brake fluid check anyway with my little tester, but you can see this is super clean. Also, you want to check at the bottom of the master cylinder. A lot of the times it'll leak fluid through and you'll see some corrosion indicating that the seals on the master cylinder are a bit average. Got the rear wheel off, gonna check behind the drum. Yes, you can take the little sight thing off the back and have a look in, but for me, when I'm looking at it for someone, I want to pull this drum off so I know exactly what's going on. Alright, drum's off. Can have a look. Liner is in good nick on this side. Liner is in good nick on this side. Shitloads of brake dust, but that's just what happens with these. But as you can see in there, this is the passenger side, not the driver's side. We have another axle seal leak. So that will need to be fixed, and that's why you can see all this brake dust is clumping. I don't know if the camera's catching it. But it's there. Another axle seal. Drum itself is in pretty good nick. Shitloads of brake dust, but it's all good. Gonna check voltage systems now. Battery, alternator. Double checking through this, we got all the lights, air conditioning, everything on. Not too bad of a reading. We're good from the alternator. Check with some blow-by. We're happy with that. I'm going to check under the front, make sure there's no crash damage or anything. If I find anything, I'll show you. If I don't find anything, I won't show you. Alright, I didn't find anything, but I'll show you anyway. Again, checking all up the front, any leaks, this, that, the other, very, very tidy. You do not see them this clean, really. Another basic one, make sure the AC is good. That's nice and cold, don't have to worry about that. Window mechanisms work. Very low case, something you would expect. This is quite good condition, as you can imagine, for this kilometers. That's all the underbody checks we're going to be doing, or I should say under the bonnet. A little checks of windscreen wipers, there's a windscreen having any cracks in it, this kind of stuff. How's the tint, any peeling? There's no tint on it at all, that's good. You can see this headlight's a bit how you doing, but we'll run through all the lights, make sure the indicators, brakes, XYZ works. Lights working, we'll test reverse shortly. So this was the side that had that little weird white line running off the brake caliper. You can see that that hardware's new, brakes are new. I dare say this caliper mounting bracket's new too. Maybe had a failed caliper at some point, and that white stuff may be the residue of some old brake fluid, this, that, the other. I cannot see any residue anywhere. Perhaps it was some sort of silicone grease. But we'll take it for a spin, and if they feel good, well, we'll see how we go. Have a look here, visually front suspension looks good. We'll give it the old push test. Doesn't seem to have any smoke, any issues there. What we're going to do is we're going to let it idle for a bit. I want to see if she gets hot, if she gives us any dramas. While we're here, we'll hit this thing. Bang, that works really well. Although the wipers, there we go. The aircon works good. Test the horn out when we're away from the house. And yeah, other than that, we'll go for a spin and make sure she feels half decent. I'm not sure if this has any logbooks in it. I can't seem to find them. I'll ask him when I get back, but people always say, what's the best indicator of reliability? Well, get a mechanic to look at it, number one. But number two, does it have any service history? You know, let's get a history check on it, a health check on it. Speaking of history check, this will have a PPSR run on it. That will tell us if there has been any crash damage, any money owing on it, any funny business like this. Going for a spin now. Alright, so driving so far, haven't got to the motorway or anything. Don't know if I'll be able to get to there. As long as I can get to about 60 k's an hour, I can generally tell what the vehicle's going to do. But so far I like it. So far it is, like the guy has said, when you have a seller who has been upfront and honest, it's one of the best indicators of buying a vehicle. That is to say, yes, you got to have a look at it, check everything over, but at the end of the day, I've looked at quite a few vehicles, a few hundred every single year, and if you're in the industry, you kind of get a feeling for it, you know? Like, I'm sure people who are mechanics or who look at cars or work on them enough know exactly what I'm saying. She drives good, heaps of power, hit the brakes pull up really well. Obviously the brakes have been done recently, as you saw, but we do want to do those emergency stops. The tires are terrible, but he reckons he's going to fix that, so we'll keep going. So about 60k an hour now, feels good. When I'm test driving these types of vehicles for customers that are looking to spend some money, I'm not just putting around. I do give it a boot every now and then, not disrespectfully, just so I know how it's going to behave under load, because this guy is going to be doing a lot of towing who's buying it. He plans on using it as a work vehicle, so you want to make sure that there's going to be no funny surprises for him. We got that 140, 150. Alright, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll take it back now, and you can definitely hear that throw-up bearing noise. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Alright, temperature's still good. All I'm going to do now is a very basic scan of the vehicle, make sure there's no codes coming up, and then that's pretty much it. She's nice, I like it, you know what I mean? It's one of those situations where it's got low Ks, it's not a 4B in terms of the way people normally treat these Hiluxes. You've clearly looked after it. One question, did you say you had the logbook or not?
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't think so, that's right. It's one of those ones I can definitely see it's been serviced. You can tell oil filter, air filter, even the oil's still got a tinge of brown to it, which might sound weird, but when you throw it in a diesel, they just go black straight away.
Yeah.
Only things I really picked up is that other axle seal is leaking too. I pulled the drum off. I got a video I can show you, it's leaking. And at the back here, very minor.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for your time. I'll get out of here. I'll give you a fist bump because my hands are filthy. I'll shut this for you as well. Appreciate your time today, dude. Take it easy.